part 3 conversion facts and figures on our Demystifying GEO and AEO series. Today I'm going to be talking about this case: ChatGPT referrals to e-commerce websites. Can LLMs outperform traditional channels? This paper from Maximilian Kaiser from the University of Hamburg and Christian Schulze from the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management has analyzed 973 e-commerce websites over a 12-month time span with a volume of $20 billion of sales combined, and has analyzed 3 financial metrics for all the traffic referred by ChatGPT in comparison with other traditional channels, specifically average order value, revenue per session, and conversion rate, which is where we left it in part 2, which if you haven't watched, go watch it. It'll be there and down there. So I'm going to start by the average order value. I will put the charts that I will outline here, and the readings of it will be available on the description below. Access to the original paper, credits always to the authors. Now, in the paper, they have some absolute metrics that show all the channels and how they perform, but they're better observed when we compare against LLMs. So the line here, the red line here, means this is the performance of ChatGPT for this first metric, average order value. So with our first financial performance, average order value, the way that this chart represents the math, it puts ChatGPT at the very center, and anything that is on the right side performs better than ChatGPT, anything on the left side performs worse. This is the same type of visual representation for all 3 charts. The values change. For average order value, we're looking at the dollar value that they spent as a coefficient. So some players, for instance, affiliate, actually outperform ChatGPT by about $23 average order value higher than ChatGPT. The next is direct traffic, which has about $40 higher order value than ChatGPT. Referral doesn't end up too far, with about $12 higher order value than ChatGPT. Next is email, $11 higher than ChatGPT. Other, which is always there and we cannot really attribute to anything, sits about right here at $5 higher than ChatGPT. Paid social, also about $5. So numbers are like 14.2, 5.5. I'm simplifying them, okay? Paid search, $4 higher than ChatGPT. And now here comes the golden question. Where does organic search land on this chart? Tremendously higher, but it's still higher at $2 average order value than ChatGPT, which puts ChatGPT as the worst performer channel for e-commerce. Now, if the average order value is lower, but the conversion rate is as high as some people claim it to be, the revenue per session will tell a very different story from the previous chart, but that's it. The reality is still a no. Affiliate massively outperforms by almost $4 revenue per session higher. Direct, about $3 more revenue per session. Email is best next, under $3, 2.7 or so. Then we have other at about $2. Paid search, also about $2 higher revenue per session than ChatGPT. Referral interestingly drops about 1.5 roughly. And then last, organic search, also outperforming by a full dollar per session more than LLMs. The only one that is outperformed by ChatGPT is paid social. So now the question is, how bad is the conversion rate if we put the conversion rate with the average order value together? Now, of course, the revenue per session is a simple metric. Conversion rate times average order value. If 100 sessions convert at 20% and the average order value is $100, well, out of 100 sessions, you will have 20 conversions times $100, you will have $2,000. Which means if you divide $2,000 by 100 sessions, your revenue per session is $20. So these are the 2 key metrics. How bad is the conversion rate of LLMs in comparison to other channels when it comes to e-commerce? So this is the math for our conversion rate. It was the last metric that we needed to close this part here, and moving into our second case, which is our own website. So affiliates massively outperforming every other channel with a 62% conversion rate. Not surprising, people take the vouching of another person who has tried the service and is therefore recommending it. Pretty seriously, usually affiliates have audiences that are super targeted, so no surprise there. But the surprise is that it's a 12.1% better conversion rate in organic search than it is for ChatGPT. That's not the surprise. This is the surprise. 76% worse conversion rate for paid social than it is for ChatGPT. So all the monies that you're taking out of SEO to put them into GEO, you might want to take them out of paid social media ads and then put them into SEO and then move your SEO budget. You get what I'm saying? Good. This is the end result here, the total math for our average order value, revenue per session, as well as conversion rate here for the study done by Maximilian Kaiser and Christian Schulze. Again, this is a 61 long page paper published on SSRN. The link is in the description box here. Now we're going to jump into a different case. It's a much smaller data set, but it's also quite interesting, and that is for our own agency, Get Me Links. So now for our second case, we have our own agency, Get Me Links. For the data set, time frame, cannot disclose it. We're a multiple seven-figure agency, and we are working here on the data set with $334,956. So this is more than a month and less than a year. That's all I can tell you. Sample size, just one website. Financial metrics that we're going to review the same. Average order value, revenue per session, as well as conversion rate. I will give you the math on both sides, and then I'll plot them in a chart, same as the study from two German gentlemen. Let's go. Bam! So, organic search, we had 1,255 clicks. ChatGPT, we got 86 clicks. In sales, we had 208 unique sales. ChatGPT, we had 12 sales. Sales volume total 328,000 with $400. 6,536 coming from ChatGPT. This is all first click data. Metric number one, conversion rate, 208 sales divided by the amount of clicks. That gives us a 16.5% conversion rate. This is way ahead of the average, because about 50% of the searches that come from these clicks are branded queries. We have a pretty good brand name. A lot of people look for us because we are also in a lot of podcasts and things like that, conferences and so forth. So people look for us when they already know who we are, and then the conversions are pretty high. Okay, this is what I told you, that the one place in ChatGPT where you will make the most money is if when people look for your brand in ChatGPT, ChatGPT says stellar things about you, and I will teach you just how to do that in following parts. For the average order value, we have $328,400 divided by 208 sales. That is $1,540 average order value, which is slightly below our actual average order value across all channels, which is sitting just above $2,000 at the moment. Then we have for ChatGPT $6,536 divided by 12 sales. That gives us 544 with 66, which is just around a third of what we make when people come from Google. And so when we put those together, the revenue divided by the sessions on both cases, right? Google revenue per session is $262 with 7 cents, when from ChatGPT is only $75 with $95. I will show you right now a quick comparison so you see just how outrageously better for us. Very small sample size, but the reason I'm making this case, and I'm not just keeping it with the math that is already available in an online paper, is because most data you will see out there in the wild, we just did a new study. There is no access to the source data, and typically the case study is on their own analytics data. So I'm just doing the same. As you see, the numbers from a much broader scope, much larger data set, much larger sample size study were around the same numbers, but not as outrageous as this. Because Small data sets are not very reliable. So for our conversion rate, Google search is an astonishing 18.9% better than ChatGPT for our brand. So Google search is an astonishing 18.9% better than Google search for our brand. So when it comes to our average order value, Google outperforms ChatGPT by 190.2%. Wild. Revenue per sessions numbers are even crazier with 245% uplift between the revenue per session from Google compared to ChatGPT. And last, for the conversion rate is 18.9% better conversion rate from Google than ChatGPT. Now, at this point, you might be asking yourself, well, Alejandro, if the numbers are so ugly, why is everyone losing their minds about GEO? Very good question. Well, a few different things are at play. There is a chance that in your particular case, for your industry, which could be B2B or B2C, then it could be local, or it could be e-com, or it could be a SaaS, or all sorts of other things, depending on the kind of business plus your target audience, the target demographics, plus how tapped out you are already in SEO. If you're already number one for all the conversion and transactional keywords that you want to rank for, no, well, number one, 80% of your GEO job, it's done. But you might be in a situation where your audience, your demographic is crazy about ChatGPT, and that might be the case if you sell to CMOs. One of the reasons that CMOs and marketers in general have lost their plot about ChatGPT, a single bestest channel ever to exist for mankind, is because one, is new and shiny, two, you can sell products to uneducated audiences that will be none the wiser unless a guy with a whiteboard and some time to put into this will come and show some numbers. But then there is the case that you're actually selling to one such audience, extremely tech savvy, in love with ChatGPT, in heavy distrust with Google, that will also not be primarily in any of their other channels that we've already seen, like affiliate and email and stuff like that, that are best performing. One such case is if you sell to Gen Z. If that's your single main audience, maybe ChatGPT proves a better channel than it would be if you sell for everyone else. So I would love to know what's your case. Go in the comments below, tell me about your business. Few key things: is it B2C, local, what city, where are you based on, are you a local hairdresser in Alabama, or do you sell B2B SaaS software for people in the automotive industry in Australia? I don't know, but if you tell me your business, I will make sure that I mention some of the realities about that when I look into the next part 4, the people, you, me, and a lot of other things. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, bye bye.